Hello everybody, this is Bobby as Yoda and welcome to week 15 of my NFL picks. Last week I went 9-7, which is pretty decent, but the Velcro darts that we used last week, they only went 6-10, which is the worst record that any of these randomizers have had all season. But as usual, this week we're going to be playing something a little different. This week I got myself this fancy little Nerf projectile launcher, and it is based off of Fortnite, which is really cool because down there I have two targets set up. One of those targets is labeled for the first team and the second target is labeled for the second team. Now the way that we're going to do this is because of the fact that these Nerf blasters here are not very powerful and very accurate. Even if I'm aiming directly between those, I'm gonna miss most of my shots, but the way that I have it set up is just a little piece of tape. So if we hit it, it should blast right through it and knock it off. And that is the team that we're gonna go with. And I guess with that said, we can, last thing I do wanna say before we go on is it does come with this silencer, which I can attach right here on the, in the end. Which I might use, probably not though, just, actually, why not? It'll look better on the camera, aiming down there. It just makes the barrel a little bit longer, so maybe that'll make it a little bit more accurate. That's not really how things work entirely, but you never know. And it's actually really easy to load. You just open it up right here, take the dart, put it in, close it, and then you can fire. Simple as that. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get started. So the first game that we have up is the Los Angeles Chargers at the Las Vegas Raiders. Now, both of these teams have been struggling, Chargers a lot more. Even though the Raiders have the winning record, they've not looked very good recently. I am, however, going to pick them because they are a slightly better team. They can still make a playoff spot if they play a little bit better, and they are at home. Granted, there's not going to be any fans there, but what are you going to do? I'm going to go ahead and go with the Chargers. I'm not going with the Chargers. I'm going to go ahead and go with the Raiders. And let's see how this goes. And like I said, I'm probably going to be missing a lot of these shots. So well, that one might have hit it, but it didn't break it off, and I kind of wanted to break it off. So we're going to keep going. All right. It has knocked off the Las Vegas Raiders, so Nerf Projectile Blaster is going to Las Vegas Raiders. I'm going to go ahead and get the others set up, and I'll be right back. Next up, we have the Buffalo Bills at the Denver Broncos. Buffalo, some might say, is challenging Kansas City for the best team in the league, or at least the best team in the AFC. I'm not sure about that, but I know that they are a much better team, and they should handle Denver pretty easily, in my opinion. I'm going to go ahead and go with Buffalo. Let's see what the Nerf has to say. All right. Much like the last one, this one's going with the home team, going with the Denver Broncos. And the next game we have is the Carolina Panthers at the Green Bay Packers. Green Bay is playing great. They are now back on top of the NFC, and they've already won their division. So they're going to the playoffs. Aaron Rodgers is playing like the MVP. I expect Green Bay to win at home. Let's see what the Nerf projectile launcher has to say. And it keeps picking the home team. I think it has a slight tendency to fly to the left. I'm going to try this one with my eyes closed, facing like this. One actually broke my ring light. And like the others, it has chosen the home team, the Green Bay Packers. And the next game we have is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at the Atlanta Falcons. Tampa Bay is the better team, so I would expect them to win this game. However, they have been a little bit struggling lately. Atlanta has been a little bit better than they started the season. However, I still do think that Tampa Bay should win this game. So let's see what this has to say. And I've been noticing it's been flying to the left, so I'm going to try to aim a little bit more to the right, hopefully balance it out a bit. And yet again, it has gone with the home team. Hopefully it doesn't do that the entire time. I might have to start switching them up around there. And it has decided to go with the Atlanta Falcons. And the next game we have is the San Francisco 49ers at the Dallas Cowboys. Cowboys might be at home, but they're really bad this year. San Francisco, I do actually think is the better team. And for some reason, I'm not seeing the Cowboys winning this game, even though they're at home. Let's see what Mr. Fortnite Nerf has to say about that. And it has decided to go with the home team yet again, going with the Dallas Cowboys. I'm going to change that up. Things aren't working very well. All right, well, the next game we have is Detroit Lions at the Tennessee Titans. This game might actually be pretty fun. I expect Tennessee to win. They are at home. They're currently leading their division. They have a foot race going with the Indianapolis Colts. So I'm going to go ahead and go with the Tennessee Titans. I switched them up a little bit. I've angled them backwards, and instead of taping them to it, they're just kind of sitting there. So any hit to those, they're actually like very, very fragile. Any hit to either one of those should knock it off, which, I mean, that's kind of what we're going for, right? Knocking it off. So let's go and try this, going with Detroit at Tennessee. Alrighty. And for once, it didn't go with the home team. Looks like that new way I set it up is kind of working. It's going with the away team, the Detroit Lions. All right, and the next game we have is the Houston Texans at the Indianapolis Colts. As I said, Indianapolis is in a foot race with Tennessee. Houston Texans, not doing so good. Colts, playing pretty well. And the Colts are at home, so I expect them to win this game. I'm going to go ahead and go with the Indianapolis Colts. Let's try this. Ooh. Landed right next to my GoPro. It's going to go with the home team, Indianapolis Colts. And the next game that we have is the New England Patriots at the Miami Dolphins. Miami is playing pretty good this year, even though they come down a little bit. I still expect them to make the playoffs. They are at home. Patriots not doing so good this year. I'm going to go ahead and go with Miami. Let's try this out. And like my pick, it's going to go ahead and go with the home team, Miami Dolphins. And next up, we have the Chicago Bears at the Minnesota Vikings. The Vikings are playing pretty good. They've actually had one of the better records since, I believe, either the midpoint of the season or something like that. Bears started off strong, lost a bunch of games ever since. I'm going to go ahead and go with the home team, Minnesota Vikings. Now let's try it with this. See if I can knock this off without looking at the thing. And of course, that didn't work. Alrighty. And it's actually going to go ahead and go with the away team, Chicago Bears. And the next game that we have up is the Seattle Seahawks at the Washington football team. Washington won last week, and they're now leading their division. Seattle is currently a wild card team, so technically speaking, Washington is placed higher in the standings than Seattle is. But we all know that Seattle is the better team. I'm going to go ahead and go with Seattle. I think they'll win this game. Washington, granted they're playing kind of good, and the NFC East really, really sucks. Who knows? I'm going with Seattle. Even though that time I was actually aiming at Seattle specifically, it still goes with the Washington football team. And the next game is the Jacksonville Jaguars at the Baltimore Ravens. Baltimore pulled off a great, stunning win over the Cleveland Browns on the Monday Night Football game this week. Great game. That was so fun to come home from work and watch the end of. Glad I didn't have to miss it, I should say. But I'm going to go ahead and go with Baltimore. They're such better team. Jacksonville is 1-12, and they started 1-0. Baltimore playing really good. Hopefully Lamar Jackson doesn't have any more cramps. Who knows? We'll see. And much like my pick, it is going with the Baltimore Ravens. And next up we have is the New York Jets at the Los Angeles Rams. This is one of the easiest picks I've had all year long. I am going with the Los Angeles Rams. They're at home. They're playing great, leading their division, probably going to win their division, definitely going to make the playoffs. New York Jets, no hope whatsoever. 0-13, probably going to go 0-16. I'm kind of secretly rooting for that. But let's try this. Well, it has decided to go with the New York Jets. Watch this be the first time it actually comes true. All right, now we have the Philadelphia Eagles at the Arizona Cardinals. The Philadelphia Eagles pulled off a very surprising win last week over Seattle. Can they do it 2 weeks in a row? Who knows? I'm going to take the safe bet, though, and go with the home team of Arizona Cardinals. Let me go ahead and load this projectile launcher here and get things started. And it is going the same as my pick, going with the Arizona Cardinals. Now for the Kansas City Chiefs at the New Orleans Saints. This game is not going to be a game that I'm going to be able to watch, unfortunately, because I know I'm going to be at work at that time, but it's one I really want to watch, especially since it is a possible Super Bowl matchup. It's also really close, and the way that Kansas City's been playing lately, they've been winning games, but by smaller margins. And if Drew Brees comes back this game, which is a possibility, might happen, might not, I would actually be willing to go ahead and go with the home team New Orleans Saints. So I'm going to live a little bit. Hopefully I'm not wrong. I'm going to go with New Orleans. Let's fire this Nerf. And likewise, the Nerf projectile launcher is also going with the New Orleans Saints. All right, and the next game we have is the Cleveland Browns at the New York Giants. This game might actually be another fun game to watch. Cleveland almost won their game last week against Baltimore, but Lamar Jackson, even with his cramps, came back to win it for them. So I think that Cleveland is the better team in this matchup. I can see the Giants winning, but I'm going to go ahead and go with Cleveland, especially since I know that they really want to avenge that loss from last week and get themselves a good solid win. I think that they have the ability to do it. I'm going to go ahead and go with Cleveland. Let's fire this and see what it has to say. And it is also going to go with the Cleveland Browns. Next game up, final game of the week, is the Pittsburgh Steelers at the Cincinnati Bengals. The Pittsburgh Steelers should win this game. They've lost 2 in a row after starting 11-0. They are the much better team. They are the favorites to win. Cincinnati, if you can pull this off, oh my goodness, is all I have to say. Final shots, let's get them done. And par for the course of everything we have done for today's video, it's going with the home team, Cincinnati Bengals. Ladies and gentlemen, that is my picks for this week. If you want to review what they are, you can see them right here on your screen. Be sure to like and subscribe this video if you'd like to see some more, and watch the games if you want to see how I did, or tune in next Thursday or Friday or Saturday or whenever I get this video uploaded for week 16 next week. But this has been Bobby Yoda signing off.